Hi, I'm CJ Elberg at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a brand new 3-horse with a closet tack sitting behind me here. This is such a cool trailer. It's so versatile. You've got a lot of tack options. It really fits a lot of needs out there today. This is a 2025 Logan Coach Bullseye 3-horse gooseneck. Before we start walking you through this, I want you to take a look at the drawing so you can see how this trailer actually lays out. So dimensions on it, it's standard 7 foot tall, standard 6'9" wide. This trailer is just over 18 foot on the floor. You notice on there that there's a front dressing room with a closet tack. That's a 5 foot short wall that we're looking at there with the closet tack, and then tack door. Both those tack doors are going to be on passenger side, so keeping it away from traffic for safety purposes, we really like that. Again, 18 foot on the floor. I mean, very, easy to maneuver trailer. Weight on this is going to come in just shy of 5,300 pounds empty, so it can easily be towed, with any type of 3/4 ton. You can look at a lot of these new half tons or these kind of eco diesel type setups that are rated, in that, 10, 11, 12,000 pounds. They can easily pull this trailer. So let's walk through it. Logan Coach is a galvanized steel frame aluminum body, so you have the strength of steel. With it being galvanized, it's not going to rust like black steel. You're also going to get a lifetime corrosion warranty being the first owner of this trailer. That is a great warranty to stand behind. Again, that's where that galvanized steel versus black steel really comes into play. So we have that strength as well. But then they finish it off with the aluminum body, so it gives it that aluminum trailer look, but also lightens it up a little bit. So one of the first things that you're probably going to notice is you're just going to notice all this Vortex lining. This is like a bed liner. You notice it on the gooseneck, underneath the gooseneck itself, the deck, and then even on the drop wall. This stuff here is such a great feature that Logan has put on so much of their inventory and so many of their models, because this under here typically gets just hammered with road blast, especially if you live down gravel roads, dirt roads. You're throwing rocks at these trailers at high velocity. We see them a lot of times come in. These front ends are kind of beat up. This Logan Coach with the Vortex really helps protect this. Not to say it can't ever ding it, but it would take a substantial force to actually ding this Vortex. The best example I can give you is, we all know the thickness of a pop can and how easy it is to crush one of those guys when they're empty. Now, take that and then Vortex line it. They've got a sponsor that they have, a Bulldogger, that he tries to actually step on the can and he can't smash it because of the Vortex lining. That's how strong this stuff is. They incorporate it throughout the trailer, so I'll show you that. But underneath here, you're gonna have your manual crank jack. Your handle actually tucks back over here to the side, so it's out of the way for you. If you wanted to upgrade to a electric over hydraulic option, we can do that. Spare tires located right over here to the left of this manual jack as we're looking at it. If we do upgrade to that electric over hydraulic jack, this is probably gonna have to be relocated. We're probably gonna have to shift it up, just because the footprint of that guy is a little bit bigger. When you get in these narrower trailers, we just don't have that width of the trailer to kind of keep it away from it. So that's one thing that we could look at doing. Underneath the gooseneck as well is a light. So right underneath here is going to be one of those LED lights. That guy right there, it's nice because our cargo light, the front end of the trailer kind of blocks it. We might have to do something underneath here, maybe even hooking up. You can pivot that light, but the light switch is over here at the front corner on driver's side. So even if you're hooked up to the trailer, this is still a very easily accessible light switch that we can get to that. This is white skinned on this trailer here, so it's the white aluminum sheeting. That is standard. If you want like silver, charcoal, champagne, those are a lot of really popular colors out there. We can change to that. There is no upcharge. The only upcharge is if you need a custom color, or if you get into a black matte or the black polish, there will be an upcharge there. But the white is a very popular color out there. Again, silver and charcoal metallic are probably right there, just behind them. But again, we can look at some color options there. If you want graphics, we have a sister company that can help you out with that. You can design your graphics, you can pick out colors, those type of items there to match your truck. So here we're looking at those 2 tack doors. So I love this setup because you have a separate tack room from your front dressing room. So if you're spending the night in one of these trailers, if you just don't want to hop in where maybe your show clothes are, you want to keep a cleaner front dressing room and keep it separated from your tack room, this is it. And it doesn't really add a whole lot of length to this trailer. Typically, standard short wall is going to be 3 foot. We added 2 foot of length to this trailer. You're really not going to notice it when you're towing this trailer. So 5 foot short wall. But again, you have this L-shaped front dressing room on here. So again, as you come in, there's going to be carpet on the floor, on the deck, on the drop wall. You've got a couple windows up here in the nose. So it's great. You can create a cross breeze. You can see out. I've slept in a trailer without windows in there. It gets a little claustrophobic up there in the nose. This you can see out. Again, that cross breeze makes a big difference there. LED light up in the nose. So you have light coverage in here. And then there's one behind me on the short wall right here. Kind of it tucks around this L shape. And this L shape back here, this is kind of a blank canvas for you. So if you want to add hooks, you want to do some cabinets, you want to do some shelves, any type of storage. Seen people put hooks on some of these posts and then strap some items in there so it doesn't move. But again, you have that back side of this tack wall, which this is what we're looking at right there. This is the back side of that tack wall, the closet that we'll look at here in a minute. But as you can see, you've got a lot of room in here, but also we can keep it nice and clean and separate from the actual tack room, so you don't necessarily have to smell saddles, blankets, all of that. You do have a fold down cleat at the drop wall, so if you're looking to hop up in the nose, you can do that. You also, above each door, these tack doors, you're gonna have a load light directly above that. So that guy right there, there's just a switch inside. I can turn it on and off, but it's nice to have that light coverage above these doors when you're going in and out. Now these tack doors and then the drop windows that I'll show you here in a little bit, they're all keyed alike. So they all have the exact same key. You don't have to go find, 3 different keys to get into this trailer. One key will do it all. Then from there behind it is going to be our closet tack. So on the door, you're going to notice the 4-tier blanket pull rack. It's on a snap. It will rotate out, and then you have a brush tray on the actual lower part of the door. That's a good catch-all. Fly sprays, brushes, hoof picks, smaller items like that, you can throw them right in that door. And then you're going to have your swing out saddle rack. Since it's a 3-horse, you're going to get a standard 3 sets of actual saddle pads. Those are adjustable, so we can slide them up and down, change the spacing a little bit. If you wanted to add a 4th one in there, you could. If you want to remove one, just have 2, you can do that. But the swing out mechanism allows you to grab saddles from right out here at ground level. There's still a fair amount of floor space in there, which is great because, again, never having enough storage. You can throw some buckets in there, anything like that. Maybe you need to throw a couple bags of shavings in there when you're getting somewhere to just easily grab, maybe a little cooler, something along those lines. But it's nice to have that floor space. You notice the Vortex on the bottom part, but then the upper part's going to be carpeted because that's where all our bridle hooks are. It's going to protect those items as you're moving from actually rubbing on, an aluminum sheeted wall. We don't want that. It creates a lot of noise, but mainly it could do some damage to maybe some bits or something along those lines. We just don't want to do that. So the carpet's nice to protect those items. You'll probably notice there was a hose up there, and that's because behind the saddle rack is going to be a corner water tank. That water tank is fantastic because now we have water right here at the trailer. I would put a ball valve on the end of that hose, just attach the hose to it and tuck it back underneath there. When I need it, I can grab it and I can fill up buckets. Whether you're traveling, traffic, waiting in line somewhere, or, just those instances where you're at the trailer and you get parked somewhere, you don't know where the hydrant is. It's a pretty good trek to actually pack those buckets. Let's just have it right here. So it's really convenient to have that on this trailer itself. another light right above, and then there's another light in the actual tack room right above there. So again, plenty of light coverage when we're looking at the trailer itself. You're gonna have the butterfly latch that goes over this tack door. And there's a reason for that, and that's because obviously our front door is facing towards the back, so it's hinged towards the actual truck itself. Well, we're gonna be going in a forward motion, so if for some reason this doesn't get quite shut just right and it's open, typically our forward motion is gonna keep it somewhat closed. If this guy does it, it's gonna wrap around and hit the side of the trailer and has the potential maybe tweak a hinge or something along those lines, do some damage. So it's nice to have the latch with that. Same thing, it's all key to like, so you've got that capability. There's also a window in that door, one in the tack door, the front dressing room as well, but the one in the closet tack is nice because, for example, you need some fresh air in there, especially with our saddles and all that tack in there, kind of air it out a little bit. You can open that up if you need to. Button lights on the top rail, and then again another load light. So again, anytime we have tack doors, so we have a front dressing room, closet tack, you're gonna have those lights above them, but then you're also gonna have one on each side of the trailer, typically about center of the wheel well, and then one at the back that I'll show you as well. You've got your bus windows, so create a lot of airflow. You got some tie rings out here, and then last year on this model, they changed from a extruded sheet, where it's basically just a sheet of aluminum that kind of looked like extrusion, and they put some bends to it, so put some folds to it. It gave it strength, but it was still just a sheet, to where now this is Logan's actual side extrusion that they use on their other models. So that's incorporated on this Bullseye model as well. Then we get into axles. You've got two 6,000-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles with electric brakes. So your tow vehicle either needs to have an electric brake controller, like an integrated, or an aftermarket. And if you need help with an aftermarket, our parts and service department can help you there. You're gonna have 16-inch aluminum wheels, the black with silver accent, and then 10-ply tires on this guy here. You have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on these tires. So they really stand behind the product. That is from the date you purchase them. It's not through Logan, it's through Lion's Head, their vendor. We can help you out with that process, but if you catch road debris, have a blowout, have a nail that punctures a sidewall and it can't be patched, they'll send you a new tire, no questions asked, from the date you purchase it for 1 year. You have that 8-year structure warranty, 2-year hardware warranty from Logan. So again, they really stand behind the product. A couple of the upgrades that we like to do on these Bullseyes are gonna be those aluminum wheels, that water tank. Those are definitely some things we automatically check on our boxes when we're ordering these trailers for inventory. Okay, at the rear here we have 50/50 doors. They're independent. The only difference is this driver's side door is gonna have a little bit of a weather stripping. That's because there's gonna be a slight gap between these two doors. What we don't want is we don't want you know, that air to circulate at the back of the trailer and suck either dust in or snow. That's how we found out about it, and we made the suggestion to Logan was we would get a trailer in wintertime, it'd drive through some snow, well, we'd open the doors and there'd be a nice little line here at the back, maybe about 12 inches in there of snow. And that's because air swirls at the back of these trailers and wants to go in. So they put this weather stripping on there to just close that little bit of a gap, and we don't have that issue anymore. So if you shut this door first, shut that door second, open that door first, open this door second, it can open. You just have that weather stripping that kind of wants to fight you a little bit. It's not bad, but it's just a lot simpler to go in that reverse order when you're opening the doors. Maybe you prefer a rear ramp load. Your horse does, maybe you do, maybe you want to haul some toys in this. We could add a rear ramp to this trailer. Typically we need about 3 to 4 weeks, just lead time. We might have a ramp on hand, but it's a bolt-on ramp. So we unbolt the rubber bumper, we bolt the new one on, and it's a ramp over. So it goes over these rear doors. Maybe you want a hay rack, we can add those too. So a lot of things can be added to these trailers after the fact through our parts and service department. Now as we get into the stall area, we've got solid dividers. with pads. This back divider here is going to telescope. And the reason why is we can actually get this against the wall and we can shut our back doors. If it was solid, we'd either have to add length to the trailer or the divider would have to stop about here and you have wasted space in order to shut the back doors. So it's nice to have that capability there, get it out of the way. Again, maybe you're wanting to haul a mare in full somewhere, give them a little bit more of a box stall, or, you know, again, if you're hauling toys, you can get that out of the way. These guys here, we can easily remove. It's a two-person job. It's not that these dividers are extremely heavy. It's just the awkwardness of it and the length. You know, one person on the end, the other person over here. You can unpin them, take them out, store them somewhere, and easily reinstall them if you really need to get them out of the way. Two-way roof vents, so we can manipulate airflow above the horses' heads. We can grab air and force it down. You know, winter months is the body, if maybe we don't want to force that cold air on them, we can release them to open backwards as body heat. As that heat rises, it can get out of the trailer, so it's nice to be able to manipulate the airflow. Sometimes you might open the first two to grab air and the back one to release it, create a vacuum. Air wants to find a way out, so it's nice to give it that option. And those roof vents really make a big deal there. Big difference when you're looking at that. Aluminum sheeted roof. And then over here on passenger side, behind each horse is going to be one of those LED lights. So the LED lights in the stall area are on one switch, and then those exteriors, as far as excluding the ones above the tack doors, but the one we saw on the side, one at the rear, one on the passenger or driver side, all those are on a switch as well. So we have two switches at the back posts that we can turn on stall or those load lights. Again, Vortex lining, so we see that again in here for kick mats. You're going to see the recessed paddle latches, so nothing protruding out from the wall. Slam latches are fantastic. It's a lot safer for you. It's a lot safer for the horses. And slam them shut rather than having trying to hold something and drop a pin in. So definitely a lot safer there. Then you're going to have some bars, horizontal bars above, in front of the bus windows here on tail side. And then I'll show you when we get to the outside, the jail bars and drop windows on driver side. But you've got your rubber mats on the floor, and then below that is actually going to be wood flooring, but again, they take it a step further and they Vortex line the boards. So I'm not going to tell you that you're never going to have to replace one of these boards, but by them Vortex lining it, boy, did they give a lot of life and longevity to these actual boards themselves. Again, it's going to just allow that wood to hold up a lot more over time. If you want to lock up the back doors, you're going to have to use a padlock on these guys. But you do a padlock on the backs, and then again, one key to lock up the rest of the trailer as far as the tack room, the dressing room, and our drop windows. So there's that rear load light back there. Again, they're on one switch at the back here. So I can turn off the stall lights. I can turn on and off the actual load lights themselves. On driver's side, you're going to notice the other load light. Again, about center of the wheel well area there. And then you're going to see the jail bars here. Jail bar at each one. Drop it down, we have a screen. If your horse is going to tear this up, it's really easy. It unvelcros, slides right off the top, so it's very easy to use if you want to take it on or off. But there's a bar here in the middle that releases, and then we can drop it back in that track in there. But it's nice to have the jail bars, but also it's nice to have bigger, heavier duty drop windows that we have on this trailer. So these feed doors are made at the factory. They're not prefab. There's actually framework around the window itself. Some manufacturers use a prefab window where there's really no framework around it. They are like a piece of paper in your hand. These are actually made, again, at the factory. So much heavier duty, welded hinges on them. These are items that are going to drop and close about every time you use this trailer, so they really need to hold up. And they also have this cheater bar. So if you're a little bit more vertically challenged, I mean, that's a pretty good reach up there. You might have to step on the running board, grab a hold of a tie ring, and it's awkward. But this cheater bar, you can grab down low, open and close it very easily. You're also gonna have a drip rail above the tack doors and these feed doors. So again, it's gonna try to keep moisture away from those openings. That's something we fight here in Colorado because we'll have snow. We have 300 days of sunshine, so it'll snow on the top of these trailers. Sun will come out, melt it. All that moisture's rolling off top of the trailer, and then it'll freeze that night. And it tries to find those nooks and crannies and tries to get in there. And when you go to open them in the morning, they're froze shut. But those drip rails, again, try to force all that away from the trailer itself. Now, unfortunately, this trailer is already sold, but it's okay because we've got more coming like it. We have some different setups and 3s and 4s in these Bullseye models from Logan, but again, this closet tack, we've got another one coming. This is a 2025 Logan Coach Bullseye through Horse Gooseneck with closet tack. For reference, the stock number is 5N250266. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.